start, and I won't start until they start.
And the chamber debates on Facebook, streaming it from the
And I believe this is Trade Channels.
yeah, this is very shows chamber.
Oh, you got a note? Yep, we got a notification. So we are live. Excellent.
So hot mic.
Excellent. Oh, this week? We're supposed to beat him, but their quarterback, but he hasn't played in 2 weeks. He's hurt. He's the guy who transferred from WSU. So the Arizona quarterback is the guy 2 years ago.
Okay, there's 1 minute. And
But so there's still a question of who's going to play or not. But the young guy who's played the last 2 weeks actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you both for coming to the Centralia-Chehalis Chamber of Commerce debate. Everybody in the room, thank you for coming to Blarney's, and thank Blarney's for hosting us, as they do, for our annual chamber forums. We have our two candidates for Port Commission, District 3, Port of Centralia, District 3, Peter Lamont and Diane Dory. And we each have 2-minute opening statements, and Peter, we'll start with you.
Good morning.
There we go.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this and putting this on, and all the support staff and the local media. My name is Peter Lamont. I'm a lifetime resident of Centralia, and I'm a graduate of Centralia High School, Centralia College. I've got a couple other degrees along the way. I got into construction early. I started in 1976 at Exit 81, and I find it ironically that I'm ending my career at Exit 81 on I-5. And I had basically from 1976 to 1997, I worked on a variety of construction projects, developments, commercial, residential developments. I've done underground utilities work. In 97, I took a job teaching for the laborers union, and I taught asphalt paving and grade checking. And I did that for 5 or 6 years, and they figured out I couldn't teach, so they moved me to apprenticeship. So I did apprenticeship until I retired in 2016. I was sort of blissfully retired. In 2018, I applied for this position, and the people voted me in for this. And the reason that I originally went to the port was I didn't like the way they were doing some things, and I thought, well, I can get in there and change it. And I thought six months to a year we should have it. They have the carburetor tuned up and have it on track. Well, the port is doing good things, but I think we can do better. I think we can improve our position. We can be more responsive to the community, to the businesses that we develop. And that's what I would like to see us doing going forward. So I would like to turn this over to Diane. You guys, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Peter. Diane, 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you for those in the audience that are virtual for attending. This is an important race in the Centralia this year, and the reason being is everything that happens in the port that's good, like new businesses, new jobs, affects every taxpayer in Lewis County. For 47 years, I was in the assessor's office, and for 24 years, I was your county assessor. During that period of time, I garnered a wonderful education in taxing and valuations, appraisal, how the whole process works, budgets, and All of that experience is necessary in order to do the administrative portion of the Port of Centralia Commission. I understand Peter has an extensive construction background. I don't. But the administration portion of it is not to do the building. It's to make sure that the money is spent well, that we bring in businesses that will give us paybacks in the form of taxes, in the form of jobs, in the form of those people spending money in your businesses in the community. All in all, my 47 years of experience in my background in property tax appraisal and valuations, and the networking that I do with all the business people is invaluable to all of you. Many people ask me to run for this position simply because I do have that expertise.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, question number one. You both will have the same question. You have 2 minutes to answer the question. I'm going to start off with Diane. And Diane, in your view, what is the key role of a port commissioner?
Well, the key role is spelled out in RCWs and the WACs. It's the administration of the port. It's policies and procedures. It's setting forth a plan for the future, a roadmap on how the port is going to enrich the community and enrich your lives. And so it's not more than that. It's hiring and firing of the port director. But other than that, it's not running the day-to-day operations. It's not making sure that Midway Construction is doing their job. It's to make sure that the port director is doing the job that he was hired to do. And to set forth, like I said, the strategic plan for the next 20 years. What we put in writing today will take 20 years to accomplish. And so the roadmap to get there is a long one. With all the permitting, the infrastructure that needs built, all of that is vitally important to happen prior to the people coming to pour the first truckload of concrete to do their building. So we have to be smart about it. The inventory of port property is getting smaller. We have to envision how we're going to continue to promote our area in a positive way and provide a labor force that is ready to go to work. You can't have people come to Lewis County to hire people if there's no one to hire. So we have to be smarter about how we put that roadmap together and how we can work together with the schools and with all the other entities that get us to the point where these people are here and ready to pour their concrete.
And Peter, same question to you. In your view, what is the key role of a port commissioner?
Oversight and planning. We do watch over our employee or employees, but it was brought up policies and procedures. About one of the first things that I asked when I walked in the door 5.5 years ago was, I would like to get a copy of the policies and procedures manual. We do not have a policies and procedures manual for the Port of Centralia. Every other organization sitting in this room has a policies and procedures manual. Strategic planning. I can't say that in the last 5 years that we've ever sat down and had a serious discussion about strategic planning, goal setting. You know, have we achieved some goals? Are we moving to other goals? Infrastructure, all governments, whether it's the port, the city, the county, that's one of the primary things that they do is work on improving infrastructure so the businesses can come. We talk about port property inventories. I have sent 6 emails requesting a list of the properties that we have for sale, and I have not gotten that. You know, I cannot sit here before you and make planning decisions if I do not have the information that I request. Training our local workforce. I've been in training for the last 30 years. I love training. I have brought up that we should have an agreement with Centralia High School Career and Technical Education Program. Get those kids to come in and work on our projects as apprenticeship. Get them started in their career. Give them good, well-paying jobs here at home. You know, we talk about living wages. How do we know that we have living wages? I do not want the Port of Centralia to be a dumping ground for companies to come in because they get a good deal on property and then they're not paying a living wage to their people. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. Question 2, and we'll kick it right back to you, Peter. What do you see as the most pressing challenges of the port?
I think growth, paying for infrastructure, how do we do that? You know, 35, 36 years ago when the port started, it was sold to us that it was going to be self-supporting in 8 to 10 years. 35 years later, we're taxing you at the maximum amount that we can. I brought up a motion, I did not get a second, to have a discussion what it would look like for the port to be self-supporting. Didn't get a second to even discuss that. Another issue, and it bleeds into the city of Centralia as we talk about housing issues and affordable housing. If you look at the property that the port acquires, a lot of that is zone R8. Well, that's, you know, heavy residential. Well, when we take it, then it becomes light industrial, it becomes commercial. So we're taking buildable properties for housing off the market. And this is something we just need to talk with the city and figure out how can we balance this so that we can still have affordable housing in our area. There was a lengthy discussion at the last city council meeting about that, and some hotels out along Harrison. That's out of my department, but it's a serious issue. How do we have affordable housing down here? So how can we be partners with the city and the county on that?
All right. Diane, same question. What do you see as the most pressing challenges of the port?
Well, the most pressing challenges are, how are we going to be sustainable in the future? How are we going to provide living wage jobs to the people in this community that are coming? They are coming whether or not we want them to or not. The amount of growth that Lewis County has had is totally remarkable in the last few years. They're coming whether or not we're prepared is what we need to do. So we need to make sure that we can handle that. Now, this is the last year of what we call the IDD levy for the port. It's a 40-cent levy that is on for basically funding Centralia Station. So the port had a choice when they started Centralia Station many, many years ago of how they were going to fund it. They could have taken out a loan, which would have been interest, or they could have developed this industrial development district. And that's how they funded Centralia Station without going into debt. So it was a tax savings to the taxpayers because there's no interest involved. It's what you pay annually over a 10-year period. And it will end this year. Now the question is whether or not we want to continue to create another industrial development district for another project at some point. That's always a question. If you want businesses to come, you have to have infrastructure, and that's not cheap. It's not free. It has to be paid for. And so the IDD is one way of doing it. I totally agree that until it's necessary that we set those taxes aside. And that's what will happen at the end of this year, saving the other taxpayers that 40 cents per thousand.
Thank you. Okay, and now for question 3, we're going to go right back to Diane. And what businesses or industries do you envision for the port?
Well, that's a tough one. In order to get family wage jobs, we need to start looking at the internet industry, the technological people. They pay really good jobs and leave a very small footprint on the property. There's no pollution, it's people pollution if anything. And so those are the high-tech jobs are the ones that we want to start attracting to this area. Manufacturing is great, but you have to have a balance, and we don't want to ever get out of balance where manufacturing is the only thing that we have to offer. Or on the converse side of it, the distribution centers are the only jobs that we have to offer. We have to have a balance of all types of jobs. So I think the ones that we're missing that I see in other areas, in other cities, and other ports are the high-tech jobs. And I would like to see some of those come to this area.
Thank you, Diane. And Peter, same question to you. What businesses or industries do you envision for the port?
Yeah, that's a difficult one because the properties that we have, we're doing a lot of tilt-up manufacturing, warehousing type businesses. And it bothers me in the areas that we're doing that a lot of us live here because of the quality of life of Centralia. I mean, I could have moved north, I could have moved south in my old job, but I like it here. This is a great place to live. So even Centralia Station, one of the issues, and not Winco, I support Winco, I'm happy that they're coming. But if we go in there and we're putting more tilt-ups, we're putting tilt-ups right in the middle of a neighborhood. You know, the long road neighborhood, or the neighborhood across the tracks, and that's what people are gonna have to look at. You know, people out on Ives Road and out that way, you know, they have to look forward to having tilt-up buildings going across the street from their nice country living home. So it's difficult. I want responsible businesses. I want businesses that pay well, along with the utilities that we need to put in for that. We also need to look at the transportation, that we're doing the right thing, you know, with the North End Industrial Interchange. You know, I think that that's a mistake if we move that north with the amount of traffic that we have coming out of Port Park 3 and the potential future growth in Port Park 1. That's going to be an issue. So, you know, we've talked about Reynolds Avenue and Harrison, and a couple of new warehouses going out there. I support that idea. We just have to have a good transportation structure to handle that kind of traffic. And we've been good for the neighborhood. I mean, Ryerson Steel, the Georgia Pacific plant that are coming in, they're not on port property, but they came here because of the work the port did.
All right. Well, thank you both for answering all those questions, and you've saved your reboodles. So each of you will have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we'll start with you, Diane.
Okay, again, I'd like to thank everyone for their time and attention today. Voting coming up is very, very important. In the past, the voter turnout for the port districts has been kind of dismal, so I appreciate everybody to get out and vote. I do want to reiterate that whatever the port does to help the citizens of Lewis County by building, by creating infrastructure, by creating jobs, helps every single one of you, whether or not you live in the Centralia School District or not. And those taxes are supported by the state school levies as well as the county current expense. So when assessed valuation is added for the port, it helps every single taxpayer in Lewis County, and I want to keep that going with a plan forward and how we're going to accomplish it.
Thank you very much. And Peter, you can wrap us up with your 1 minute closing statement.
One, I'd like to thank Diane for elevating the conversation here on the port. And I would like to see us, you know, my big thing's transparency. I mean, we see a lot in the paper about how difficult it is to get information. If you're doing the right thing, you don't have anything to be afraid of. So get out there, do the right thing, take command, do the right thing. I would also like to say that there's probably not going to be anybody else in the room that they spent $10,000 to prove that we're wonderful. Well, they did that on me, so I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
We'll take a couple minute pause while the next candidates come up.
I'll get it. How are you? Good. How are you? Good.
I'm gonna say I saw you were grabbing 400 shots of them too. Yeah, those first two.
great idea.
You know what I've done for the cookies?
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Just what I needed. I went and saw my doctor yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And my doctor's really honest. And he
Good, yeah.
slides in the door. He's like, he goes, dude, you got fat again. First thing he said, oh, hi. No, he's like, dude, you got fat again. I'm like, oh. I'm going to enjoy this cookie. Think about my doctor.
A little ahead of schedule.
I need a doctor like that.
So I guess start like 2 minutes before the start. And they don't do the rebuttal at the same time.
Great.
You need to call the next people up then?
Yeah, we have 10 minutes. We will, 5 minutes.
I have a backup planning weekend and crazy people are all together.
Yeah, it's tricky because if I go like to the left, I'll be too far away. And if you guys hear me, it's just that's like the perfect spot.
Are you guys okay with where we just started? Like do a little break. Let's get the people up there. And yeah, what about them? Oh yeah.
Should we call them up?
Could we have the next set of candidates up here, please?
Keep it moving.
Russell Barr and Chris Brewer. We're a little ahead of schedule, and so we're going to kind of keep moving.
I think people would appreciate it.
Yes, I'll turn it over to you.
You're
Well, I'm the opener.
You're the
Yeah.
guy.
I'm the opener. Welcome. Just like if you witnessed before, we're going to give each one of you a couple minutes for an opening statement, and we're just going to follow in the order that it was presented on our sheet of paper, which is done by a random algorithm to crank up, and it wasn't. But we're actually going to start off with Russell and give you 2 minutes for an opening statement. So Russell, it's all you.
Welcome, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Russell Barr. I've been a resident.
I don't think it's on, Russell.
It's not on?
Yeah.
Is there something I gotta do?
Maybe a little slide. There you go.
There we go. Greetings, everybody. I'm Russell Barr, resident of Centralia since 1990. Came here to raise a family. I've raised a family here and lived in town within a short walk of here ever since. When I came to town, I worked for FedEx. I was a FedEx driver. I walk real fast. And I did that job until I hurt my back, and they told me I couldn't do that anymore, and went back to college. Finished my college degree in 2000, and majored in computer science. And in 2000 wasn't a good time to get a job in computer science. So I ended up working for the school district maintenance department, literally digging ditches and other low-man kind of jobs. Worked and also worked at Twin Transit for a while. So I have some experience working adjacent to the public sector, working in public projects. And after I finally got a job in technology, working for a company that makes software for school districts. Got that job in 2005, and have been working for the same company ever since. I like the job. It's solving puzzles for a living. And it's what you call, it's a technology job, but it's also working for schools. It's the software that when you walk into the school and ask where your kid is, and they look up where your kid is, and it's that kind of software. And so it's used by people who work for the public. So I have an idea about the pace of change in public products. And I'm thankful to be here and want to serve the community as best I can with the skills that I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Russell. And Chris, same for you. 2 minutes for your opening statement.
All right, well, thank you all for being here. My name is Chris Brewer. I've been a Centralia resident for 8 years. I've actually lived in the area for 12 years on and off. But I'm running for city council because I just want to be a blessing to the community and help out in any way that I can. I'm honored to be friends with several business owners here in Centralia, and I'm blessed to have great working relationships with people who are doing critical work in our community already. I believe that a vibrant business community enhances and improves our overall quality of life. Everybody, from industry at the port, to restaurants along Harrison, to shops in downtown Centralia, serve as the lifeblood of our community. As our business community goes, so goes our economic and overall health and wellness. Our business community needs a true friend on city council, and I pledge to be just that. I want to get to know you, and I want to take the time to hear your thoughts, concerns, and ideas. I want to work alongside you to better our community. I see my role on city council as helping empower our businesses to thrive in the best way they know how. By working together with the chamber, local businesses, and residents, I'll support policies that promote sustainable and responsible growth and help bring family wage jobs to our area. My campaign is guided by one principle. We should do the best we can for everybody. Let me repeat that. We should do the best we can for everybody. We, not me. This is about us. When we work together to make Centralia better, our community's stronger as a result. I don't have all the answers to problems that we all face, and I know I have a lot to learn, but I want to jump right in and do the hard work alongside each and every one of you. I'm Chris Brewer, and I look forward to serving you as your Position 1 City Councilor for the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you to both of you. Again, you each have 2 rebuttal cards, and if you want to use one at any point, just put it up while the other person's talking, and then we'll come back to you. If you save one towards the end, then you'll have that 1-minute closing statement. And our first question will be direct. You'll both have the same questions. We'll go with you for the first question first, Chris, and then Russell, you'll ask that. And our first question is, what do you feel are the top 3 priorities for the council? What should those be, those top 3 priorities of the council?
The top 3 priorities that I can see right now is housing, community livability, and public safety. We're in the middle of a housing crisis that seems to hit everybody, not just up and down the I-5 corridor, but everywhere throughout Washington State, and we're seeing a lot of this issue hit nationally as well. The council can control what it can control through responsible planning and zoning. If you saw what happened on Tuesday at City Council, it was a 4-hour meeting, and that's because the work is long, difficult, and hard to try to figure out those solutions. We have a good system in place already, and we have people who are doing that work, and I want to come alongside them to ensure that our comprehensive plan is what it needs to be when we address the housing crisis. Public safety is huge. Crime is up. People have talked to me about this. We need to empower our police department to do the best that they can. We need to make sure that our police department is fully staffed. And we need to come alongside them to figure out ways that we can collaborate as a community to help reduce crime and make sure that people are safe in their businesses, in our homes, and in our public spaces. And finally, community livability. I am a cyclist outside of my day job. I bike everywhere, and I tend to walk everywhere here in town. What can we do to make our community safer, more walkable, and more inviting? I don't know all the answers to that yet, like I said, but I want to be part of that conversation.
All right, thank you very much. And same question to you, Russell. What do you feel the top 3 priorities of the council should be?
Well, I have a one top priority, that's crime. And not that crime has become horrible here, but it's an issue that is rising across the country and hasn't quite come here as much as it could. And I think it's something that we need to pay more attention to, and allowing our local police department to do their jobs, and not legislate against them doing their jobs, and legislating in such a way that that crime becomes easier. I think housing is also a significant issue. I see that the city council's got a limited ability to change people's housing prices, or the price of gasoline, those commodities. There's little that we can do on the council, save zoning and land use. Those are important issues dealt with by the council, but those are very long-term tasks. Anything done doesn't take effect for a long time. I think that it's important to show up and speak from a moral center when on the council, and have diverse views. The much of what city council does is mundane stuff. You know, buying extra transformers this month happens all the time. But the city council, well, by its charter, advises and consents to what the city manager does and proposes, and so we need to be responsible. Thank you.
Thank you. And next question, you both alluded it to in your 3 priorities, but this is a long question, so we're going to go back to you, Russell. Safety is a growing concern for businesses, not only for loss prevention, but also for keeping public places clean and drug-free. Do you feel the city is being proactive, reactive, or inactive on this issue? If so, what improvements do you want to see take place?
Well, I would say the city is generally being reactive, but not overly reactive. I think that things could have gotten a lot worse over the last 5 years had the city had Centralia brought in, let's say, what I would consider big city priorities into our local government, and I think it's important that the council protect the city and protect what we have here, because what we have here, I believe to be better than other cities. That's why I've been here so long and raised a family here. So I think that the city's doing well. I approve of what the council has done over the past 20 years. The city's gotten great. I love it here, although it's hard to afford it here. It's hard to afford to live anywhere. And I want the city council to do whatever it can to continue to keep Centralia a great place to live and work, have a business, raise a family. And I believe that the government that governs least governs best. And so I'm not an advocate of the city being overly reactive and jumping on things because of what other people do or what other cities do. We have a unique place here, and I want to keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. And Chris, same question to you. I'll repeat the question. Safety is a growing concern for businesses, not only for loss prevention, but also for keeping public places clean and drug-free. Do you feel the city is being proactive, reactive, or inactive on this issue? If so, what improvements do you want to see take place?
I think the city is being a combination of proactive and reactive. Obviously, things happen and you have to react to them as they happen. But proactivity has happened in 2 main ways this year. There have been 2 council items, such as, actually I believe it was earlier this year, where they funded the flock safety camera system so our police department can see what's going on, such as areas of the outlets, and prevent retail theft and such. Centralia Downtown Association has also donated to the city to implement the flock safety downtown so that we can see things as they happen and respond to them. I had some concerns about that system initially because I had wondered, hey, are we surveilling on people who aren't doing anything wrong? But I had a chat with our police department about this, and they explained how it is a force multiplier and it helps them see where problem areas are. That's proactivity right there, and that's happening right now as we speak. In terms of making our spaces more safe to eliminate drug use and such, you can look to Washington Park as an example. I see foot patrols there. I see police engaging with the community there. So that work is being done, and that's a proactive step. I'd like to see some foot patrols downtown, and maybe we can implement some sort of community solution, such as a community watch or something like that. What I would like to do as well is, if elected, I would like to take some time and spend some time with our police officers and see what they are seeing on a day-to-day basis and help form policy as a result of that.
All right, thank you both. We'll wrap it up with our last question, and I'll throw it at you first, Chris. Centralia has lost a lot of funding due to the reduction in hotel motel tax. Is there anything you see that the council can do to change this trajectory?
Again, I'll allude back to what happened on Tuesday night. There was a huge issue and a huge item that would take way more than 2 minutes to discuss because it was so broad and wide-ranging. But the crux of the issue there was changing the zoning in the C2 area that includes those hotels and motels and seeing if we want to turn those into some sort of permanent supportive housing or something. On one hand, we need housing. On the second hand, we can't deplete our hotel motel tax funds. We are using that to pay bonded debt on the sports complex right now. That is needed. We need those hotel motel funds. Can you repeat the second part of the question? Because I want to make sure I'm answering that correctly.
Yeah, is there anything the council can do to change this trajectory?
The council can do, again, what it can do. When it comes to planning and zoning, we need to figure out ways that we can bring more hotels, motels, maybe Airbnbs, VRBOs. We can change and amend policy on the fly as we can as part of the comprehensive plan, which is exactly what the council decided to do on Tuesday. The comprehensive plan is kind of a rolling plan for the next 20 years that will guide the policy on that. I look forward to being part of that discussion and seeing what I can do.
All right, thank you very much. And so Russell, same question for you. Centralia's lost a lot of funding due to a reduction in the hotel motel tax. Is there anything the council can do to change that trajectory?
Well, there needs to be some sort of incentives for people to make money having hotels here, and it's not impossible. All the hotels that we have in town, they have all been full. They were all built and they were going concerns at one time. And then that was at a period when there were a lot less people in the state and even passing through. So it's not that it can't be done, it's that nobody's wants to utilize those facilities except to flip them into residential. And of course, they'd still be full. There'll still be a lot of people and more people in town, but it wouldn't give us that hotel tax. And additionally, the sports complex has need for more hotel motels nearby when they have large sporting events there. Those hotels could be full, and the council and the city could be getting that revenue for it. What can they do? Determine some sort of incentives to make it worthwhile for people to revitalize the hotels that we already have. We've had large companies bring in hotels at one exit down, at exit 81, but we've still got these buildings that they could be full and they could be providing us with revenue. And I don't claim to know how the funding for that works, how to help that, but there should be a way to incentivize hotels staying here. Thanks.
Thank you, Russell. Okay, you've each saved rebuttal cards, so we have time for a closing statement. And we are going to, Russell started with the opening statement, so we're going to go back to Chris to start with a closing statement. So, Chris, 1 minute for the closing.
Well, again, I just want to appreciate everybody for being here. I know a lot of the faces in the crowd here, and it's really good to see all of you. Once again, I just want to reiterate that I'm running for city council for one reason and one reason only, and that's to help out any way that I can. I see city council as being the highest form of volunteerism that one can take in their community. And if so, I want to keep that ethos, that I work alongside everybody to help make our city better, because we should all be working to do that. Our city is a great place to be. I always kind of joke around and say we're an hour and a half from the coast, an hour and a half from the mountains, an hour and a half from Portland, and 6 hours from Seattle. If you've ever driven through JP11, you know exactly what I mean. But we're a great city because of all of us. We're a great city because of what we have to offer here. Let's showcase that to the rest of the world, and let's be the best that we can for our visitors, our citizens, and everybody who wants to make Centralia a part of their lives. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Chris. And Russell, 1 minute for closing for you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. I also want to be of service to the community, to the city. I see a lot of growth happening, and I want to be. I have investment here, time. I'm a homeowner, and I intend to stay here. And want to be as well a force for good, both on the council and in the city. I appreciate the people who work for the city and the people who live here. And Centralia is important. As Chris said, we're midway between the two biggest cities in the Pacific Northwest. We're important, and we should grow that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you both.
Yeah, absolutely. Sit down. Perfect. Perfect, thank you.
All right, and we are going to take a 5-minute break and kind of get things moving along so we can get everybody out of here early as we can. So 5 minutes and we'll have the next candidates up. Thank you.
Yeah, that was funny.
So that was an example of pictures. Okay, welcome back. You didn't leave us, right? No, I know that was well. You're just gonna come back, right? How was the wedding?
It's really beautiful. It was a very, very red. Holy smokes.
Where your brother?
They built like a homemade arch out of log trees and had like moose antlers on the top, and then they got married, and then their very religious dad who officiated the wedding sent everyone over to announce the baby gender of the baby. She's pregnant. And so they went over there, threw a powder ball and shot her.
What is it?
It's a boy.
Oh, very excited. Did everybody know, or was that a surprise?
I think everybody knew it, but she announced it. So I'm going to be an uncle to my niece, Vince.
That's how my I'm like a great there. I think I might be a youngest
Youngest out of left.
Yeah, so I was a great
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, you know how that goes.
I do. People are like, great, man, you're not old enough. I'm like,
I know, but that's how it goes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Can I sneak a quick picture of you?
work in the room? Does Todd work in the room?
I think I'm going out and we're getting ready to start.
Okay, we're going to get started and people can get back to their seats. And we're missing the moderator. But we do like to see that everyone's networking and talking.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Chris and Todd to get the next set of debates moving forward. Thank you. And just so you guys know, this button turns it off, turns it on. So I got it all. So before
Sorry,
we
there's a
speak,
cue.
flip it up.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. We are with our candidates for Centralia City Council Position 2, Kelly Smith-Johnston and Joyce Barnes. And again, like the other candidates, we'll do 2-minute opening statements from both of you. Then we'll have 3 questions. Each of you will have 2 minutes to answer each question. You have your 2 rebuttal cards. If you want to use those at any point, just put it up while the other person's speaking and we'll come back to you for 1 minute. And if you save one of those, then you will have 1 minute for a closing statement at the end. And we'll do, you know, the snake back and forth with the questions and the opening statements. And so we'll kick it off with you, Kelly, with 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you to the Chamber for putting on these debates. I think it's critical and essential. Local government is where it's at. The decisions that we make as elected officials have a significant impact on the day-to-day lives of people. And informing the voters is one of the primary roles, and thank you to the Chamber for doing that. As I was sitting here feeling nervous about whether or not I can do a good job with this and watching the room, I reflected on what a great room this is. And I'll say the same to the people watching virtually. Our community is filled with folks who care. And this room represents business leaders, educational leaders, government leaders, and other people in our community who care enough to spend some time here together and who are invested in this community the same way I am. I grew up in the military. It was a wonderful experience, and by the time I was 10, I believe I had lived overseas, been to 6 different schools, 17 countries, and 34 states. Now, I've got a fact checkers over there, so they might correct some of that. It was a wonderful experience, but I've now lived here for 20 years. And this community has provided me with the stability and the love and the support that I needed to raise 2 daughters on my own. I just graduated a Tiger. Miss both girls terribly as they go off into the world, but I couldn't have done any of that without this community and without being here. Running for office was a way to give back and help guide Centralia through a period of growth that we're in right now. And what we're seeing in this age, we're all feeling it. We're in an age of mass misinformation, mass polarization, and mass depression. We need leaders committed to healing and bringing folks together, and we can do that at the local level, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And Joyce, now 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Well, I feel a little nervous about following Kelly. She's definitely a professional speaker. I hope I speak loud enough that she can hear me. I feel very confident in the job that I've applied for. I'm experienced. I've been there. I've done that. I've served you well in the past. And I not only say that, but a lot of people have told me that. So I'm willing to serve you again. There's some things, in my opinion, that are wrong, that aren't being done right. Tuesday night was one of them. But let me tell you a little bit about me. I married a guy from Centralia. I moved from California up here, and I've lived here since 1949. That's a long time when you're calculating those years. But I want you to know that I have a perfect health record. Anybody can see that I'm capable and able to do your job for you and help you out, make the city a better place. I've served on the council, I've served on the fire advisory board, I've served on the planning commission, I've served on city council a total of 9 years, actually. We had 6. And I have also been a faithful watcher of the council. I have went to every meeting or Zoomed it or read about it. I'm there in Lewis County. I keep close track of it. It has been my life. And so I'm available to you. If you want me, I'm going to do the job.
Thank you. Okay, now with question number 1, you each have 2 minutes and you have an opportunity to rebut. Remember to save 1 if you want to have a closing statement. So the first question, I'll start off with you, Joyce. It's a fairly long one. Centralia has a diversity of businesses from single owner small shops and retail chain stores to industrial parks and growing healthcare. As a council member, where would you like to see growth? And this for you, Joyce.
Well, I like to sort of keep us the way we are, the hometown way. A lot of people, I live in a senior park, and all the people that are moving in here are from someplace else, and they just want what we already have. I think that we're doing fine. We need more housing. We need more jobs. We need less crime. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Joyce. And Kelly, same question for you. Centralia has a diversity of businesses from single owner small shops and retail chain stores to industrial parks and growing healthcare. As a council member, where would you like to see growth?
Well, I'll start by saying that I appreciate the diversity of businesses we have, and every business that invests in Centralia is of high value to me. As a business owner myself, investing your life into a business is significant, and to choose to do that in this community is something that I want to support and encourage. That said, if we're looking at targeted growth, which is what I think the question's asking, I want to find businesses that are going to create jobs that encourage our students to stay in our town if they choose to. Some students might want to grow and spread their wings and go to another community, and I wish them well, but I don't want anyone here in Centralia to feel like there isn't a future for them. So I'm interested in businesses that will attract our students, students who go to college and come back, students who move into vocational, and students who graduate high school and are seeking work. The other thing I'm interested in, which is not something that we talk about a lot, but it's the density of jobs for square footage. As we grow, we don't have as much land, and there's going to be some competition for how that land is used. And Tuesday night's council meeting was an example of that. How do we use the C2 zone? Do we put in fair market housing, permanent supportive housing? Do we preserve it for commercial? And if we're going to be putting in jobs, it would be great to create jobs where the business itself takes up a certain amount of square footage and there's a lot of density in there so that we're using our space well. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. You've both brought up the issue of housing, and it's a critical issue for businesses to expand and retain employees, like you've talked about. Do you think the current zoning within the city of Centralia is sufficient, or do you feel changes should be made? And if so, what changes? And we'll start with you, Kelly.
Zoning is a dynamic piece of guidance for a city council. It's never a static one and done situation. Given how Centralia is growing and changing, I think the zoning does need to change, and we're going to do a comprehensive plan periodic update next year, and we'll have a chance to engage our public and have a robust conversation about that. We do need to look at how commercial and residential go together. One of the things that we've moved out in the last couple of weeks is a 20-year vision for the city. And I think it's essential for your city council to set that vision while we're dealing with immediate issues. And we all know that we have several immediate concerns that we have to address. We also need to be preparing for a future that gives people hope and optimism. And in that vision, we talked about creating neighborhood hubs, and that's going to require some zoning change. Those hubs are intended to be designed around our schools, our local neighborhood schools, and include light commercial use, where you might see some commercial use on the bottom, residential on top, or some standalone, which might be a neighborhood bodega, like a grocery store, nail salon, pizza joint, etc. The purpose of that is to create smaller neighborhoods within our larger city as we grow. And this gives folks a place to have a sense of belonging. So maybe you've heard that concept of a third place. Your first place is home, your second place is work. Your third place is where you're known and loved, like Cheers, right? Norm. And so we need to create that, but we also need to create a way for people to do some of their daily tasks where they're not all jumping on Harrison and driving over to Safeway to get their groceries. We are experiencing a lot of congestion, and we're limited in how we can manage that congestion because of our rivers and streams and our trains, etc. So I think that zoning change will be really important as we grow.
All right, thank you. Joyce, same question. It's a long one, so I'll repeat it here. Housing is a critical issue for businesses to expand and retain employees. Do you think current zoning within the city of Centralia is sufficient, or do you feel changes should be made, and if so, what?
Well, one of the changes, and it has been done before, rescinding things. And the vote on Tuesday night needs to be changed. I don't think that we need to have a housing development for homeless people that keeps them locked into there. I think that was a major mistake to do some of the changes that they did on Tuesday night. And I don't know, I'm really concerned. And one of the reasons I ran for office is I feel that our mayor is good. She's well-spoken, but she is not the controller or the manager of the city. And she's designing it, but we hire a leader, a manager to run our city. And we're supposed to support his guidance to us. He knows what he's doing. Not to say that Kelly doesn't, but it's not our type of government. We put in this form of government when the Chronicle and all of them was making the push so that we would be able to have somebody that was professional and do the job. The mayor is not in charge.
All right, thank you. Kelly, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, let's start with the decision on Tuesday night. The state has already determined that we need to provide permanent supportive housing anywhere that there's hotels, motels. So the decision was really, do we shift that to fair market rentals or not? And the fair market rentals right now were established potentially at a rate that would be higher than the area median income. So it was going to create housing right in our commercial zone that would prevent business growth, and it would impact a major business corridor. And so keeping the zoning the way it was the decision of the council, and that allows us to consider whether we should make that significant change as part of the periodic update in the comprehensive plan, which is the place to do that. The second issue of whether or not I run the city, it's an important one. The role of the city council is to set policy and to work closely with the city manager who manages the day-to-day operations. I have a very good working relationship. And the implication that I make the decisions, I think it insults the other city councilors who are all showing up and voting.
Thank you. All right, next question, and we will go back to Kelly on this one. Not quite as long, but it's been a little bit addressed already. What are your thoughts about rezoning the former hotels, motels along Harrison Avenue to include multi-family housing?
Isn't that Joyce? I think it should be Joyce.
Oh, Joyce, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Joyce.
My bad. Sorry, that's for Joyce.
Okay, I was waiting to have
Oh,
some.
do you want us to ask that one again?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. I apologize for that. Sorry, everybody. Joyce, what are your thoughts about the rezoning of the former hotels, motels along Harrison Avenue to include multi-family housing?
Is that to say to tear them down and rebuild multifamily?
It's just about the zoning, so whatever the zoning would allow to happen.
Yeah. I feel that they were going toward the right thing to let this new money, somebody that invested, quite a considerable amount of money, to have the right to go ahead and build what he does. He has a past record of other places that he has built, redone, and made livable homes or apartments, studio apartments, yes. But there's a lot of people that could use those, and it would be with the way it is now, there can't restrict who's gonna be there. And we need to have it so that not everybody, we don't want a poorer grade of people there. We want people with money to have something they deserve. Nice small apartments, maybe a person, just a couple, or somebody on Social Security that can have a livable place. And I think that we can meddle in too much.
Thank you, Joyce. And Kelly, same question to you. What are your thoughts about the rezoning of the former hotel motels along Harrison Avenue to include multifamily housing?
This was a very complex issue, and it required a tremendous amount of education on my part. And to condense it into 2 minutes is almost doing a disservice to the complexity of this issue. But a few things of note. One is we need housing of all sorts, and in fact we're developing it. We have 482 some units in the pipeline right now, and it is all types of housing, from transitional PSH to mid-market townhomes to single-family residences. So we're doing the work. Rezoning and allowing residential, I strongly think needs to be done as part of a periodic update where you're looking at your entire city and making sure you're making good decisions holistically. In this case, making this decision right now, that decision would not have triggered a traffic study. And Harrison is highly congested, we all feel it. So it seemed irresponsible to allow multifamily dwellings to go in there without a traffic study or traffic mitigation. Because they're going to have much more trips than a motel hotel. The other piece of it is this particular developer has a history of increasing rent pretty dramatically. They have apartments here in Centralia that they've redone, and they've held them for 34 months. They buy the property and then flip it. And in that 34 months, the rent increased 63%. Another property in Tacoma that they purchased, they held for 19 months and increased rent 147%. Our citizens cannot afford that. We already struggle with affordability in housing, and so there's a little bit of thinking about, yes, we need housing, yes, we need to think about creative ways to do it, but we also need to protect the future of our city. And housing and land use is a covenant in this community, and we need to be thoughtful about how we do that and protect the interests of our future as well as our present.
Thank you, Kelly. Joyce?
Okay. We each have 1 minute available for our closing statements. And Joyce, we're going to start with you. 1 minute closing statement. Thank you so much.
Well, I think some of the, I think some of the things that should have been asked weren't asked, so I'm going to make comment on them. One of the things that I am concerned about is the continual police force shortage. I think that we make a mistake in hiring people that have never been a police officer before. Then we have to send them away and have them have training. It would be better if we took and offered bonuses or a larger amount of money for experienced police officers. I think that we're at least 6 people short, and maybe more. And I think that's why we have this raise in crime. And you know, when you get into your car and you're nervous about it, nervous about it, and you have to lock your doors because you don't know whether somebody might jump in that's panhandling on the corner. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Kelly, you can wrap us up with 1 minute for a closing statement.
1 minute, talking fast. Centralia is at a crossroads. We could potentially deteriorate as a community, but I really believe that we can grow and flourish. Let's take crime as one example. Our police staff is basically fully staffed. We have been short-staffed, but we have been working to fill those positions diligently, and we're now fully staffed. And crime is down. Our statistics on 2023 from 2022 in shoplifting and vandalism and assaults and more are all trending downward. I'm very proud of that. We've had 2 lateral hires of experienced police officers who've come in the last couple of years as commanders, and they're doing an incredible job for us. It is the role of your local leaders to inspire hope and optimism about the future. We have to believe the future will be better than the present. We have to believe that we have the power to make it so, and we have to know that there's more than one way to get there. I would love your vote and the opportunity to continue to build the Centralia of the future, where we can have a livable city and enjoy it and have a place for our children to grow and flourish. Thank you.
Thank you to both. Kelly, they're gonna take a picture.
Jared, what do you think?
I think that they already did.
Do they? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
That's okay.
See you. Jared would like to get a picture of you.
Kelly, I'll sign one more portrait.
You want it seated or?
No, you guys can stand right here.
Okay, that's perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good job.
So we're going to take just a 5-minute break, and then we have one more council candidate who's going to be up here. So take 5 minutes, and we'll give you a warning. Thank you.
When I call people back, that's not explaining that. Hey, this is moving right along. There's only been a couple times this really happened.
Yeah, no, that's been great. Some people have been super respectful. I think that's one thing when we wrap it up, just to thank the candidates, how respectful everybody's been.
Put yourself out there. It's hard. I couldn't do it. You can probably do it, but I'm you can pay me money to sit up there and answer questions about stuff. Enter whatever it takes. And plus, I mean, I guess I'm sort of used to it. She always does something.
Right. That's my favorite thing.
Did you have any of that? Is it sweet tea?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Try not to do it.
I wasn't. Like, you know.
Yeah, just get it in front of your name tag, so make it all fancy. Feature a topic. That's what I'm hoping for. So I can get a nice smile. Kylie never responded.
She's unable to attend. I'm gonna announce that in a minute.
What's up?
She's just unable to attend.
All right, can we have everybody seated again? We've got Centralia, position 3, our final debate of the day. I do want to announce that one of the candidates, Polly Sexsmith, is unable to attend today. But we still want to give Adriana an opportunity to speak and give you a chance to get to know her. So we do have questions for her, and we just haven't decided if she's going to rebuttal herself. You know, I have to say, first of all the candidates, thank you so much. Running for our public office is probably one of the hardest things anyone can ever do, and I, for one, appreciate everyone who runs, and I really appreciate those who end up serving, because it's a lot of hard work, and you're always making somebody angry, no matter what you do. So it takes a lot of inner courage to kind of go through that. So I just wanted to put that out there, and so thank you for being here, Adriana. And I'm turning this over to Chris and Todd. And thank you, Lindy. Excellent job.
All right, well, we will get started then, Adriana. It's, there's no rebuttals, or you don't have to worry about any of that, but you've got 2 minutes for your opening statement, and then we'll go into the 3 questions, so 2 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank everybody who's here and who is watching virtually. I am very happy to be here. Nervous, yes, but happy to be here. And then something that I want to remark is, if you can look around, there's no other one Hispanic in here, so that's even more nervous. That makes me more nervous, but very proud. I have been living in Centralia for 25 years, and the opportunity that I got to be a city council member is giving me that feeling in my heart that I belong here. Before, I didn't feel like, we're always thinking, one day I have to go back. But now, even if I go back, this is my house. This is my city. You are my people. You are. And now, this job that I've been doing at the city council is giving me this. Is giving me that feeling in my heart, and I really love it. Even if I don't make it to the next election, I know you guys, and I know that I have a place here in Centralia. And I am a mother of 3 wonderful children, and wonderful husband. He's been very patient, because I've been coming home very late. And then he has dinner made for me, so that's even better. So I have a wonderful kids. One, she is 23. And she is already graduated from University of Portland. She studied communication. So she's amazing. Yeah, and I have a dancer. I like dancer, and I have a 12 years old. He loves sports. I love my family. I love Centralia, and I am very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm up. First question. All right. What's your personal vision for Centralia?
Something that I really want to see is to see the Hispanic community getting more involved in the city. And I really want them to be able to feel what I'm feeling right now, that we are part of Centralia, that we came here for a reason, that we come here to work. And yes, I know that some people will say that there is some crime coming in here. Everybody, everywhere you go, you will find good and bad people. And so my vision, one is that one. The other one is to be able to have more opportunities for people to work and then get a living wage, because it's important. It is important. I was talking to people not long ago, and the mama and dad, they're working, but me. I have 3 jobs, and do you think that is enough? No, it's not, and it's hard. So we need to have somehow new opportunities, new developers who can come and invest and and give opportunities to have a good jobs. And then something that I also agree with Kelly is that I was hoping that my daughter, with all the skills, and she's bilingual como yo, y espero que ustedes me entiendan, ¿verdad que no? Well, she's bilingual like me, and you don't even know how many times I asked, don't leave. She went back to Portland and worked there. But in my heart, I hope that one day she will be sitting down here because she will do great. That's it.
Thank you. And question number 2. The closure of the swimming pool has created a lot of controversy. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest. The first time, I was sitting down at the city council listening to that issue, right? And in my head, I grew up with nothing. No electricity, no running water. I was 14 years old when I watched TV, black and white. And then the first time that I was able to take a shower in a shower, I was 18 years old. So I was just thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many things that we can be worried about. Like, I grew up with no water, no running water. I have to carry water in my head to drink. And I'm like, is that really serious for the swimming pool? But I didn't know the importance that is behind the swimming pool, right? Or the pool. I didn't know that why a lot of people really wants to keep that open. I didn't know that. I was just thinking in my head, I don't think that is a big problem. I think we have more things that we can be worried. But then I got into more information, and I know that it's important for, especially for the veterans and remembrance of them. And so I think it is important to keep it. I just don't know where we can get the funding to have it. And I heard another thing, that it is like a competition. If they say, oh, look at Chehalis, and I mean, but Chehalis is next door, right? And then, yeah, we can be delighted. I have a kid that will be happy to go and then swim in there. I just don't know how we will be able to have the fundings and get it running.
Okay, last question. It's a little long one. Businesses have suffered a lot because of COVID restrictions. And so do you think, is Centralia better equipped to deal with future pandemics? And if not, what ideas do you have to mitigate losses for businesses?
I used to work at GT Roofing, right? And I even now, I see they're struggling because, I am assuming people is kind of scared or trying to save money. And I mean, even though we need a roof on our heads, so sometimes we just wait until the very last moment, right, to see if that's something that we have to do. If we are prepared for another situation like that one, I don't know. I have to be clear, and I'm new in all this that I'm doing, and I need to get to know more and learn more. And that question, I think it will be something that I have to learn more before I give any more answers, because I'm new. And something that is always happening to me, I was just telling my husband, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired, and my brain is just killing me. And all of a sudden I say, but you know what? What if the city, if they get together and we build this? And he's like, but you just told me that you don't want to do this anymore. Well, yeah, but when I get involved, I get involved. And then I want to work. And I mean, I'm sorry that I don't have a good answer, but I will learn, and maybe next time I will give it to you.
Okay, Adriana, thank you very much. We have 1 minute for a closing statement, because she did not rebut herself at all. So she can use this final minute for a closing statement, Adriana.
I just want to appreciate everybody. Everyone here is making a difference, is making an impact in my heart. And I really want to thank everyone who's going to vote for me, because I know you're going to vote. So thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I really want to engage the Hispanic community with you guys. I really want to close that gap and create a bridge where we can work together. And you know that there are so many businesses out there from the Hispanic community. And I want them one day to be sitting down here, listening to, these other city council members, or the new ones that are coming. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you to the chamber, and my nerves are gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
All right, thank you all for coming.